Well, hey gang, how are you doing? Jonathan here for Tailhunter Sportfishing, and it's time once again for the Mexican Minute La Paz video fishing report, coming to you from La Paz, Baja, Mexico, and covering all of the fishing action for our Tailhunter Sportfishing fleet for this past week of the dates of the 28th of August through the 3rd of September 2023. Wherever you are, I hope you're doing well. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for spending time with us, and please do us a big favor. If you like what we're doing, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, a like, and don't forget to subscribe. Well, it's a little early in the morning here, about 6 o'clock or so, still dark outside. Just finished putting out our vans to Las Arenas, and then our folks that are fishing here in La Paz still got our divers and snorkelers to put out later this morning, and then lots of folks arriving from the airport. We are busy. This is prime time, and you know, if you hang on, wait till the very end, you've got to check out the fishing gallery for this week. Just all kinds of things happening. It's been a crazy week, let me tell you. Before I get into it, take a look at this these shots, this video that I've got. We had all kinds of things. Not only did we have a super full moon, the big strong currents that go along with it, all kinds of crazy tides. We had a couple of days where we had tropical rains. Now they're called torritos. If you know toro means bull, torito means little bull, and what that really means is a little hurricane. Now, most of these happen in the afternoon, so you know, even if it says it's going to rain here, it might rain here, but 100 yards away it might not rain. It might rain on the other side of the bay, it might rain at Las Arenas, but not downtown. Well, this week we had a really strong rain one week that lasted about 15 minutes, flooded everything, and then 20 minutes later it was gone. Everything cleared up, just a lot of mud and water debris all over. But then the next day we had a storm, and let me tell you, we had more rain in half an hour than we had in the entire 4-day hurricane a couple of weeks ago. Take a look at this, these videos, these shots, and I'll catch up with you at the end. Some pretty amazing stuff. Let me explain what happened. In about half an hour, we had 2.5 inches of rain. 2.5 inches of rain in about 30 minutes. Everything flooded. Arroyos flooded. Roads got closed. We had to sandbag out front. The waters rose really quickly. Folks couldn't get across town. There were folks that were swept away, fortunately rescued. There were cars and motorcycles that were swept away. It was the water was high enough to reach the windows of some of the cars downtown. They turned into rivers. Just incredible. We had more rain in half an hour, 2.5 inches, than we had in the entire Hurricane Hillary 2 weeks ago. Now, these kind of things can happen. This is the tropics. You've got to remember that. Fortunately, most of this happens in the afternoon. The heat rises, these clouds form, and then they drop everything all of a sudden. There's nothing on the radar, really. We might get a little notice that there's a little bit of rain's going to fall, but you never know how hard it's going to be. Like I said, it could rain in the mountains, but not here. It could rain at one hotel, but not the other down the street. It could rain across the bay. It could rain out on the ocean, but not other places. This time, it just came in with, I mean, it was a deluge. It scoured everything. There were all kinds of things happening. There were trees falling. There were palapas that were getting blown over. Fortunately, from what I hear, no one hurt, but there was some pretty extensive damage here and there. Anyway, how did the full moon, how did these strong currents, how did these rains affect the fishing? Take a look at the photos that are coming up. Fishing was still, I gotta say, pretty incredible. And you always worry after these storms whether it's going to create a lot of runoff, or the water's going to be dirty, or the water's going to change temperatures. But you know, we've had a great Dorado bite for the last 2 or 3 months, maybe the best Dorado bite that I've seen in the last 30 years. So still lots of Dorado around. Everybody's catching limits or near limits, sometimes very, very early. There's still some very big beast Dorado, 30, 40, even 50-pound Dorado. But the big surprise, we've got tuna. We haven't had really much of a tuna bite in about 2 years or so. Great Dorado, great rooster fish, but the tuna just really have not shown up for the most part. Well, this week we started getting little tickles of tuna, maybe not really footballs, a little bit bigger than that, maybe some 25-pounders, a lot of fun. But here's the thing is, I never want to get too excited when the tuna show up because we get all fired up and then the tuna disappear. Well, it got better and better as the week progressed. Now, here's the caveat about the tuna. Yes, they're there, but they're kind of a long way out. They're mostly with our Las Arenas fleet, and it's not that we have to go offshore really far. They're not far offshore. We have to go down the coast, and it's about an hour, hour and a half run. Now, you've got to get there because these tuna, they're hit and miss. You get there, it seems like they bite early. If you get into them, great. If you don't get anything, it's kind of too late to come back and try for Dorado or other species. You get hooked onto a Dorado or hooked onto one of these tuna, and they can be 20 to 50, 60-pound tuna. You get one of those and you drop it, it busts off and it takes a school with it and you're done. Or you fight one of these fish and you're not going to be able to do much else while you're fighting it. We had a couple fish that were on half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour. We had one that was on for an hour and a half and broke off. But the tuna are here, and they can range anywhere from 10 to about 50 or 60 pounds, and I hear there's some even larger ones. So that's very encouraging. Hopefully they're going to move up the coast a little bit. They're about an hour and a half south of us, but hopefully, fingers crossed, they're going to move up. So we've got Dorado, we've got tuna, we got our first sailfish this week. We've had a couple biters during the season of sailfish and marlin, but nothing hooked, nothing really landed. We got our first sailfish. Fortunately, it was released. And also, you know, this is not rooster fish season. Yes, we've got some of these small little ones, the fun stuff in the bass, you know, maybe 5, 10 pounders at the most. Great fun on light tackle, but the larger ones, those 50 to 100 pounders that we get earlier in the season, just not here this time of year. But surprisingly, we've ran into some 30, 40 pounders, which was a great surprise. Great for the folks who are trying to get one off the bucket list that don't come earlier in the season. So that was a nice surprise. Plus, rainbow runners. Rainbow runners are cousin to the yellowtail, and normally we don't see those until the waters start cooling off. They're usually a springtime fish or a wintertime fish. We got some of those as well. Plus Pargo, Cabria, Jack Crevel, a number of varieties. So it was a really, really good week. Everyone who wanted fish caught fish. Everyone who wanted to bring home fish brought fish home. Yes, there was the occasional boat that didn't do so well, but usually another day made up for it. Maybe out of 10 boats, one boat just, you know, either went for something that didn't bite, or they were that one boat that just missed the bite. But overall, a really, really good week. Very encouraged. The full moon that we had, the storms that we had, did not affect us as much as I thought they would have. So very, very encouraging. Hopefully this keeps up. We got another 2 months to go for our season. So if you're coming down, I'm very encouraged by things. Get ready to hook onto some fish and get ready for some heat. It's hot. It's humid. There's mosquitoes out because every time we get rain, we get a hatch for about a week, week and a half of moths, butterflies, flies, mosquitoes, and stuff. Bring a little repellent. Keep your screen doors and windows closed at your hotels, and they won't bother you so much. But anyway, that's a quick wrap up. I've got to go put our divers and snorkelers out right now. Just wanted to get something down, get it out to you real quick so you know what's happening. Anyway, I'm Jonathan for the Mexican Minute. Thanks for checking in. You take care of each other. God bless, and we'll catch up to you next week.